This episode is titled Denial Detox, the top 5 denial reasons and how fixing them will add thousands to your bottom line. Because here's the truth. The average practice loses thousands, sometimes hundreds of thousands, or yes, even millions, each year to preventable denials. But these aren't just billing department headaches. They're indicators of broken processes that are costing you real money. And in many cases, physician owners are completely unaware of how much money their practice is actually losing. Welcome to Medical Money Matters, the podcast where you can find experts, answers, and resources so that you can achieve mastery over the financial and business aspects of your practice. Hello, everyone. I'm your host, Jill Arena. I began my career in accounting and finance, and I have more than 30 years of experience running medical groups. I own and operate a national healthcare consulting and revenue cycle company, and I am the author of Physician Heal Thy Financial Self. In 2020, I co-founded the Physician Leadership Project, and my passion is to increase financial and business literacy for physicians. Episode 128, Denial Detox, the top 5 denial reasons and how fixing them will add thousands to your bottom line. Welcome to Medical Money Matters, the podcast where we dive into the numbers behind your practice's performance. Today, we're getting serious about something that silently chips away at your revenue, frustrates your staff, and leaves your bottom line looking weaker than it should be: claim denials. This episode is titled Denial Detox, the top 5 denial reasons and how fixing them will add thousands to your bottom line. Because here's the truth. The average practice loses thousands, sometimes hundreds of thousands, or yes, even millions, each year to preventable denials. But these aren't just billing department headaches. They're indicators of broken processes that are costing you real money. And in many cases, physician owners are completely unaware of how much money their practice is actually losing. We see a lot of groups where the billing team is resigned to having to write off claims rather than doing the work to create systems and workflows to maximize collections. Billers are frequently either tired, overworked, or simply lazy, and wind up quietly writing off thousands, if not millions of dollars, because it all seems too difficult or they're not incentivized to figure it out. Don't get me wrong, the insurance industry is incredibly complex, and billing rules and denial reasons frequently seem completely illogical. Many of them are. And I would assert that as a hardworking physician, you should still get paid. So in today's episode, we're going to walk through the top 5 most common reasons your claims get denied. Then we'll look at operational fixes for each one, concrete changes you can make in your practice to stop the revenue leaks. I'll also estimate how much your practice can recoup by addressing each issue. From there, we'll talk about what it takes to build a high-performing billing team with strong leadership and standardized workflows. And finally, we'll talk KPIs, the key performance indicators you should be watching, and wrap up with some ideas for incentive plans that will keep your revenue cycle team motivated and focused. Let's get to it. First up, eligibility and coverage issues. This is far and away one of the most common denial types. It happens when the patient's insurance plan doesn't cover the service you've billed for, or when their policy isn't active at the time of the visit. Sometimes this is because coverage changed and the patient didn't realize it. Sometimes it's because no one verified the benefits before the appointment. Either way, the result is the same. You provide care, submit the claim, and get a denial saying the patient wasn't eligible. And in many cases, you'll never get paid for that work. Second, authorization and referral errors. These denials occur when services require prior authorization or a referral, and that documentation either wasn't obtained or wasn't attached. These are high-stakes errors, especially for imaging, surgery, and specialty care, where pre-auth requirements are increasingly strict. Miss one step, and the payer won't budge. Again, no payment for all of that work. Third on the list, coding errors. This includes everything from incorrect CPT or ICD-10 codes to mismatches between procedures and diagnoses. Sometimes these are honest mistakes, a simple transposition. Other times they're systemic, like using outdated code sets or failing to link diagnoses correctly. And with automated claims scrubbers on the payer side, these errors are flagged instantly. They are easy to fix, and your likelihood of getting paid is higher, but it's still an error and it puts all of those claims at risk of not being paid. Fourth, missing or incomplete documentation. This one hurts because the claim may be clinically accurate, but if you didn't attach the operative note, failed to specify medical necessity, or skipped a required modifier, you're out of luck. Medical necessity denials are especially painful because they're preventable with the right documentation. They can be worked and they may be paid, but again, any denial just creates rework for your team, and again, you run the risk of not being paid. And finally, timely filing. Every payer has its own deadline for when claims must be submitted: 90 days, 100 days, 180 days, sometimes even less. If you miss it, it's a hard denial. No appeal, no recourse, just lost revenue. We see groups routinely losing thousands of dollars to this one, and no need. Okay, so those are the top 5. Now let's look at how to fix each one and what that fix can do for your bottom line. You're listening to Medical Money Matters, a weekly podcast brought to you by Healthy Practices, a healthcare consulting and revenue cycle company dedicated to keeping our clients independent. Please reach out if we can do anything at all to support your practice. You can find more information online at healtheps.com. That's www.healtheps.com. Please follow or subscribe to get all future episodes downloaded as soon as they're released. We'll begin with eligibility and coverage issues. The fix here starts at your front desk. You need to verify every patient's insurance, ideally 48 hours before the appointment and again at check-in. Real-time eligibility tools make this easier than ever. These tools integrate with your practice management system and give you instant feedback on plan status, coverage details, copays, and deductibles. If you don't yet have an automated real-time eligibility checking tool, please get one now. The cost is minimal. The payback is huge. Another key is training. Your front desk team needs to know how to interpret benefit information. They should be trained to spot red flags like high deductible plans, inactive policies, or services not covered without referrals. There are many online training programs available for this. Healthy Practices Front Office Revenue Cycle Education, or FORCE, training is one, and our friends at the Practice Management Institute also offer several courses as well. If you're not doing this already, the financial impact is significant. For a small practice, seeing 20 patients a day, even catching one eligibility issue per day, could recoup $10,000 to $20,000 a year in denied claims and avoided rework. For a larger group, multiply that number by the number of clinicians you have seeing patients. Next up is authorization and referral errors. The solution here is process-driven. First, designate someone on your team or use a third party or AI service who is responsible for tracking prior auth requirements by payer and procedure. Maintain a matrix of what requires auth and when. Second, standardize your process. Create a checklist that follows each patient through the scheduling process. Is this an in-network service? Does it require authorization? Has that authorization been obtained and documented? And third, audit. Periodically review denied claims for missing authorizations. Then go back and trace where the process broke down. This one can be assisted by AI. There are many companies out there now offering AI solutions to process prior auths. Fixing this one could recoup $15,000 to $30,000 annually or more, depending on your subspecialty and your volume. And it reduces rework dramatically, which means happier staff. Now let's move on and talk coding errors. This one is tough because coding is both art and science. But the key is to reduce variation. If you're using clinical staff to code, provide quarterly training. Coders and clinicians need to stay current with guidelines, payer-specific rules, and documentation trends. Software can also help. Claim scrubbers that flag likely coding issues before submission can catch mistakes early. Many EMRs now offer integrated coding support that helps ensure alignment between diagnoses and procedures. Recouping lost revenue here could add $25,000 to $50,000 per year for a mid-sized group, and that doesn't include the time saved on appeals. Let's move to incomplete documentation. This is where clinical and billing teams need to collaborate. Start by embedding documentation templates into your EMR. These templates should guide clinicians to include the necessary elements for each service: medical necessity, history exam, time spent, and so on. Next, consider having coders or billing staff perform a pre-submission documentation review on high-risk services, especially surgeries or high-dollar procedures. Education is critical here too. Clinicians should be regularly reminded of the documentation requirements that impact revenue. If they know the why, they're more likely to comply. And if they're trained by another clinician, not a coder, even better. Cleaning up this area can bring back another $10,000 to $20,000 per clinician annually, and it improves audit readiness at the same time. Finally, let's talk about timely filing. This one is one I feel most strongly about because it is 100% preventable. It's all about workflow. Your billing team should be working claims in near real time. Use dashboards to track encounters that haven't been billed and set alerts for any claim that's nearing the timely filing deadline. Build batch review protocols so nothing slips through. Even small delays in posting charges can snowball if they aren't caught quickly. And if your front office team doesn't get the correct insurance before the visit, the claim can easily get lost to timely filing, which means you won't get paid. Fixing this issue can prevent $5,000 to $15,000 in lost revenue per year, and unlike other denials, you often have no chance to appeal these. Now, fixing denials is great, but you need the right people doing the work. Medical billing is not a part-time job. It requires technical skill, payer knowledge, and attention to detail. If you want consistent results, you need a team of experienced professionals who are not only good at what they do, but also well-led. That leadership piece is critical. An excellent RCM manager doesn't just assign tasks, they establish priorities, set standards, and monitor for compliance. They're your front line in denial prevention and revenue protection. And this is a you get what you pay for situation. Going cheap on your revenue cycle team is likely to save you pennies and cost you thousands of dollars. Please make an investment here. Just as important are systematized workflows. Every claim should follow a defined path from eligibility check to auth verification to coding to submission. When you systematize, you reduce variation, and variation is the enemy of cash flow. Workflows should be documented and trained. Everyone should know what happens, when, and by whom. And those workflows should be revisited quarterly to make sure they're still working. Once your team and workflows are in place, how do you know it's all working? That's where KPIs come in. The most important one to track is your denial rate. What percentage of claims are being denied on the first pass? Industry benchmarks suggest anything over 5% is a problem, and the best performing practices are under 3%. Next is your first pass resolution rate, or FPRR. This is the inverse of your denial rate, and it tells you how many times you got it right, how many claims are paid in full without rework. Higher is better. Aim for 90% or more as a baseline, and 95 to 97% for best practice. Keep an eye on days in accounts receivable as well, especially by aging bucket. If too much of your AR is sitting in the 90-plus day range, denials are likely a big part of the problem. Track your appeals success rate too to make sure your team is winning the ones that can be won. Please, 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 as a physician owner or leader, please review these KPIs. Many groups don't, and the physicians are unaware of how much money is being written off. Please review write-offs carefully so you understand the reasons you're not getting paid so you can fix them. This lack of review is likely costing you thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars. According to MGMA statistics, 67% of denied claims are never followed up. That means those physicians never got paid for all of that work. Please don't be part of the 67%. So now your team is trained, your workflows are humming, and your KPIs are trending in the right direction. How do you keep that momentum? Incentives. One simple model: tie monthly bonuses to improvements in clean claim rates or reductions in denial percentages. Even small gains deserve recognition. Try recognition programs like Denial Detective of the Month to spotlight team members who resolve the toughest cases. Celebrate appeal wins or creative process fixes. Gamify it. Post team stats in a shared dashboard and track progress over time. Add in some friendly competition. You can also explore profit-sharing models where the billing team gets a small percentage of collections above a baseline. When the team helps bring in more revenue, they share in the reward. And don't forget the power of feedback. Monthly team meetings to review wins and challenges go a long way in maintaining engagement. So let's wrap up. Denials aren't just a billing problem, they're a practice problem. And fixing them isn't just about recovering money, it's about building a high-functioning revenue system that supports everything else you do. By addressing these top 5 denial types: eligibility, authorization, coding, documentation, and timely filing, you can recover tens of thousands of dollars a year, reduce staff burnout, and create a smoother experience for patients. It's not terribly sexy, but the money coming in sure is. It takes the right people, clear workflows, measurable goals, and yes, a little motivation. If you're not sure where to start, consider bringing in a partner who can help. At Healthy Practices, we've helped medical groups across the country detox from denials and rebuild stronger, leaner RCM operations. If you'd like a customized denial audit or want to learn more about training for your billing team, reach out. We'd love to talk. Thanks for listening to Medical Money Matters. Until next time, stay focused, stay efficient, and keep bringing the money in. Front Office Revenue Cycle Education, an in-depth course on the impact your front desk has on your clinic's bottom line. This online, on-demand, 2-hour course is led by seasoned revenue cycle experts who will teach your front office staff the importance of obtaining accurate patient demographic information, how to effectively collect money at the front desk, and their impact on the life cycle of an insurance claim. Available now online for $195 per person at www.healtheps.com under Courses and Force. Enroll your front office staff and watch your denials go away.